Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Wake Up Flow. Hopefully, we're back onto some sort of normal schedule this week after kind of a crazy week last week with the rather wild weather, really high winds during the week, and then an outage that lasted the better part of 2 days without any internet access. So we'll try to get everything back on schedule this week, and we do have a full week of practices given that Christmas and New Year's fall on a Saturday this year and into the next. We'll be able to maintain our normal schedule. Let's start with a little bit of warm up this morning. Feet about shoulder width apart, knees kind of soft and bouncy. And let's get that upper torso nice and erect. Imagine your head being pulled up by a string. So lengthen out the neck and spine. And then let's just begin to turn from side to side, letting the arms swing free. Get the body temp up just a little bit, get a little fluid moving in the joints. And then we'll run through a very traditional routine called the 8 brocades. If you were to see groups of people in parks in China and elsewhere doing Qigong together, it's very likely that this is a variation of this routine is what they're doing. It's been around for some 800 years. It comes out of the Southern Sung Dynasty, very prolific period in ancient history. And then let's take the hands into loose fists and begin tapping. Tapping on the lower belly and lower back. Some acupressure points here in our energy center, our lower dantian. Little four-legged furry friends are up and active this morning, so it's likely you'll see them wander through. They are early risers. 3 rescued kittens that we adopted recently. They're still going through their socialization, so they're confined to a single room in the house, which happens to be the one I work in. And let's take one of those hands, the front one, up the body, begin tapping into that little valley where the shoulder and chest meet. There's a little hollow spot there. If you're not sure exactly what I mean, stop a moment, put your fingers on your sternum and just walk them across. You're going to fall into a little hollow here. That's where we want to knock. There are a couple different disciplines out there that just employ tapping as their main mode. And this is a point used to tap away stress and anxiety. In the movement traditions, we tend to work along the meridian lines, which are kind of strings of acupressure points where the energy flows through the body. And this will be the end point of the lung meridian. Tap here for immunity. And let's flatten out the hand and let the arms go kind of ragdollish. Bring them all the way up over the shoulder. Give yourself a little pat on the back. And let's begin to deepen out the breathing. Taking the breath in through the nose, if you're able to do that. This time of year, particularly in my part of the world, a lot of us are a little snuffly and congested, and sometimes it's hard to breathe through the nose, but try that if you can. Actually, the more you do nasal breathing, the easier it gets. Let's come back to the front, work our way back down. And then all the way back down to the belly. Begin to shift the weight from side to side, working across the width of each foot, feeling a little bit of roll from the inside to the outside of each foot. It's one of the methods we use to kind of find our center. Try to balance side to side, front to back. All begins with the feet and ankles. Also strengthens the ankles. Strength and flexibility in the ankles helps with balance, which in turn helps to reduce the risk of falling. Often cited as a premier benefit doing Qigong and Tai Chi, which makes it very popular with the older demographic, because those of us who are in that demographic kind of come into our years where the risk of falling goes up and the effects of falling are more severe. Let's float the hands off the body, turn that tap into a reach, and let that arm swing across. Lift the trailing heel off the floor. It's now the length of the foot instead of the width. Just a couple more here, and then we're going to connect to the breath. Slow this down. So paying attention to that breath. I'll come back to that neutral starting position. And let's connect to the breath with spinal cord breathing. Breathing in, spread the elbows apart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathe out, fold it all back in, gently round the back. Slowing down to let the body move with the breath. Let's take one more. And then rise back into our neutral starting position called Wuji, relaxed and ready. And we begin with two hands lifting the heavens, lifting palms toward the ceiling. Breathing in, hands turn over at the shoulders. Breathe out, press them overhead. Breathe in, come onto the balls of your feet if you can. Hands begin to separate. And then as you breathe out, let the hands float the rest of the way down and lower the heels. Breathing in, lift. Breathing out, press overhead. Breathing in, rise. Breathing out, release. One more time. Arms float up on the sides. And then fold one hand in. Imagine you're drawing a bowstring. Turn the head, turn the other hand into an aiming point. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, let the body dip down, pull back on that bowstring. Breathing in, your aim arm sweeps across, hands change places. Breathe out, draw the bow. You want to go a little bit deeper on the dip. Bring your feet out just a little bit. Breathing in as we transition across. Breathing out, dip down, draw the bow. Let's take one more on each side. And release out. Just let that string hand float out. Step back into neutral as the arms float back down. Breathing in, hands come up in front, palms facing each other like you're holding a ball. Spin that ball, and then let the palms float away from each other. One high, one low. Breathing in, spiral the arms, recapture the ball. Other hands on top now. Let the palms slide apart from each other, separating earth and sky. I took a little dip in the middle here. And then come back to vertical and stretch those arms apart from one another. Breathe in through the transition. Breathe out through the stretch. A couple more times. Last one. The hands come back even to shoulders and then float down together. Breathing in, one hand sweeps across the front. And as we begin to turn, pin the back of your hand against the body. The other hand floats out, palm facing out, and turn. Breathing in. Hand sweeps across and then disappears behind the body. Back of the hand presses against the body. The other hand floats around, palm faces out, torso turns. The great owl looks behind. Breathing in, coming across. Breathing out as we turn. Hold that stretch for just a moment. One more. And then again, letting the arms float out to shoulder height and releasing. Setting up for the next two movements, we're going to go a little wider. The feet pointing just slightly out. Sink down, let your hands float down to your knees. Turn to one side, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, swing the head across the front. Breathing in as you rise back to the starting position. Breathing out the other way. Breathing in, coming back to the beginning. This one's called swinging the head and shaking the tail. One more time, coming back. And then as you rise up, let your hands float to the back. And a little massage of the kidney area. Breathe in, let the back arch just a little bit. Breathe out, folding forward, letting the hands trace down the outside of the legs. Breathing in, trace up the inside of the legs, returning the hands to the kidney area, gently arch the back. It's called bending the waist and holding the feet to cure the 100 illnesses. I don't know about all that, but one more time. Breathing in, arch the back, and then release the hands. And toe heel, coming back to neutral. Hands float up in front. Form loose fists. Draw back into the waist. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, punch forward, letting the hand rise from the navel to eye level. Breathe in. Draw that fist back in. Breathe out. So we punch with the fixed gaze, or depending on how you translate, the angry gaze or the intent gaze. Let's do one more with each hand. This is the 7th of the 8 forms in the brocades. Last one. Draw back in and just release the hands down. We'll do the simpler version of the last one. Rising, hands turn over at the top, rise up on the balls of your feet, and as the hands float down, lower the heels. It's called lowering the palms and lowering the heels. Breathing in as we rise. And nice long breath out as everything releases down. This is a fairly simplified form of the 8 brocades. And our member session at 11 today on Zoom. We'll do most of these forms in the Shaolin tradition. Some different variations of the form, same basic set. And let's take one more, and we'll use this one to close with. Rise up overhead. Nice and slow this time as we come down. Maybe even take another breath on the way down. And as hands reach the bottom, let's come hand over hand. Place those over the lower dantian. Let's bring our feet just a little closer together. Close our eyes. Finish with 3 deep breaths. Make that last breath, that third one, nice and deep. And as you release that breath, go ahead and release the hands. Open the eyes. And give everything a little shake out. Thanks for joining me for the Wake Up Flow. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Namaste.